I can guarantee you, I think, you will not run into a snake when you hit your ball into the rough.
That's
Safe?
that's a good guarantee for me. I will say that. That means a lot.
You will not run into any wild critters when you hit your ball into the rough. And pretty much, although this theory has been tested, you're pretty much guaranteed to find your ball each and every shot. So come on out, hang out with us. Pro Swing live on Forest Drive. You listen to Preston Thorne, Bill Gunner. Again, Tyler Head back in studio. It is the early game. Bill Gunner for AAA Heating and Air. All right, it is officially back and forth, back and forth. I think it was in the 60s yesterday. It's going to be like in the 80s next week. So you get the point. We are all over the map, whether you're turning on your air conditioner or your heating unit right now. And that can cause your AAA, your heating and air unit to be on the fritz. But with AAA Heating and Air, they are ready to help you. No stress, no worries. Right now, if you need some repairs, AAA Heating and Air is offering up to 12-month payment plans with no credit checks on repair services. You heard that right. You just need a valid bank account. That's all you need. So call AAA Heating and Air and line up those repairs. 803-677-1500. Again, that's 803-677-1500 right now. No credit checks on repair services. So call AAA Heating and Air today and tell them Bill Gunner sent you. 803-677-1500.
It is time for another look at your traffic and weather from the Wetzel's Automotive Traffic Center. Looking around, still have that vehicle fire, which is out at I-26 eastbound at exit number 113 that is still blocking a right lane. So be careful as you make your way through there. Expect some heavy delays, especially as the traffic starts to pick up. But fortunately, right now, that's the only thing going on the roadways around Columbia. Still sitting at about 48 degrees here in downtown Columbia. High today going to get up to 67 with plenty of sunshine. Tomorrow, 71 for your high with some rain, and 68 on Friday with some rain before we get a nice and clear weekend with temperatures in the mid 60s. That's your traffic and weather on the early game.
We're back.
Rolling along live from ProSwing this morning. Preston Thorne, Bill Gunner, producer Tyler Head back in studio. Jen will be back with us on Friday, but Tyler's got us held down for just a little while before he heads out here to handle his show coming up at 9 a.m. And again, we want you to stop by at some point today, play around the golf, hang out, kind of be a part of Masters Week here as we get you ready. They have got several TVs in here, so don't feel like you're going to miss anything. You can come in here. I'm watching one of the talking heads. Golf talking heads might be the most annoying, by the way.
Yeah.
There's a little pretentiousness that they take amongst themselves.
Isn't that the gig?
I might be. Maybe they're living up to exactly what they need to do. But these guys on the Golf Channel, I can't remember this guy's name. I can see him right here on the TV in front of me. Brandon, and then you got Brendan Chambly on there, who is quite confident in himself. It is an interesting
Nice
group.
suits. I enjoy looking at them in suits.
With the azaleas behind them,
That's a
and
good
it's a
scene.
beautiful setup.
Good setup.
Beautiful setup. But yeah, come on out. You can watch some golf. You can play some golf. You can hang out with us all day, today and tomorrow. By the way, today and tomorrow will be a part of this. 803-404-6100 if you want to weigh in this morning. Preston Thorne, yesterday, Dawn Staley goes a portaling.
Yeah, she caught a big fish, caught a huge fish, and we can have really sporty sport talk here because they got Tanaya Latson, who's from Florida State, point guard from Florida State, who essentially led the nation in scoring last year. Not only did she lead the nation in scoring, as I heard from my 107.5 brethren, Elijah Campbell had 100% usage rate.
Oh dear.
Do you not know what a usage rate is? I don't know either. But if you have 100% of it, I would assume you use something a lot. And I think that using something would be the ball. And so they got a ball dominant scorer. She averaged 25 points last year, 25.2 points, 4 assists. She's averaged 20 points every year that she's been at Florida State. And this was, if you tuned into the subreddits and the dark, deep tresses of women's basketball Twitter, this has been bubbling for a while. So it may not be as much of a surprise to many folks as it was to maybe everybody that Tanaya Latson has signed with South Carolina in the portal.
So now you get Raven Johnson back, Maddie McDaniel. I don't know. It's kind of a wild situation where she was gonna go portaling, but never went portaling, so she stayed. And then her parents put out a statement for her. She's back. I guess the question is that what South Carolina needs, or as Dawn continues to scour through the portal, are you looking for a dominant big? What is the thing that gets South Carolina back on track or inches closer to Connecticut?
Well, I don't think it's an or. I think it's an and. I think they do need somebody who can get a bucket. I've said this over and over again. Malaysia has that capabilities. I think Tessa has that capabilities. Obviously, Joyce is dominant, but somebody probably has to get her the ball. Tessa and Malaysia are able to get points for themselves and are able to create. That is obviously what Tanaya has been doing in empty gyms in Tallahassee for her whole career. And if you read some of the articles, stated that she just wanted to have an opportunity to play for some time with some stakes, play with something that's important, and this is going to be her opportunity. Now, what you just laid out was essentially a logjam, a depth chart, if you will,
Well, throw in full alley too. Yeah.
a depth chart, if you will, at point guard because somebody is going to have to play. Somebody's going to have to play more minutes. Somebody's going to have to play less minutes, and that's going to be a conversation that I'm sure has been had and will be had as they continue portaling throughout this offseason.
Yeah, and again, you've got a very good recruiting class coming in for Dawn. She always recruits exceptionally well, but now we've seen the game change so much. I mean, you think about Camila Cardoso coming in. Remember, she was a transfer portal addition from Syracuse. Obviously, Tahina Paopao was a portal addition from I believe it was Oregon, if I'm correct. I believe so. So you've got to go out and find. And I know that Coach Staley's had other portal additions that have been very big, but you've got to go out and continue to land these players because Preston, Connecticut isn't going away right now. Sarah Strong and AZ Fudd are back. Juju Watkins is going to be back for Southern Cal. I'll be honest, I'm not fully aware of the UCLA situation. I know Kim Mulkey and LSU continue to add players. Texas is going to continue to be tough. It's not the day and age of just 2, 3, 4 teams across the spectrum of women's college basketball.
Yeah, there's more teams that are able to compete. There's more parity amongst the top teams. As far as UCLA is concerned, I did see that there's another Betts sister on the way.
Sienna, number 2 player in the Hoop Girls.
Did see that.
Yeah,
pretty strong genetics in that family right there. So yeah, I did see that was happening. But what they're gonna have to figure out is what their philosophy is and how they're gonna go. And I think the thing that's different about Tanai Latson is that she's a senior, whereas Pau had years left. Obviously, Cardoso had a whole career to develop here at South Carolina. So I wonder if this is the first time that Dawn is taking the approach where we need to get help now, get help instantly, and bringing a person in for a specific job.
So we'll continue to monitor that for Coach Staley. But as you mentioned, and the number that stood out to me, 25 points per game. That is the one thing. It didn't feel like South Carolina had a bucket getter this year that you just get the ball to, and full while you'll take some shots.
Yeah, but the thing is, and we can get as sport as we want to here. That's 25 points per game at 100% usage rate. That's not what Dawn Staley has typically done as far as her teams are concerned. Her teams are usually more team based. They don't have a ball. They never really have had a ball dominant person. So it's going to be interesting to see whether they conform to the transfer or the transfer conforms to the system or the system changes. Who knows?
803-404-6100. Again, we are live this morning from ProSwing, hanging out, getting ready. One more day. The Champions Dinner was last night. Preston Thorne might have to revisit a little bit of that. I saw some of the pictures come out. That looked pretty cool. Also, you've got the par 3 tournament today. Maybe that's a little bit more up your alley there if you want to get into that. But we are one day away. Tomorrow morning, we'll be sitting here trying to check out all the great Masters action as the sun rises over Augusta. 803-404-6100. Reminder, also coming up in about 45 minutes, we got our Grand Slam giveaway winner. $450 last night goes to somebody that we will draw back at the studio since the Gamecocks hit a Grand Slam. We'll talk more about that and keep you updated on what else is going on. Live from ProSwing out here on Forest Drive. Come on by and see us this morning or this afternoon. We'll be here 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. You're listening to The Early Game.
Hey, Columbia, are you looking for the best gear to tackle your lawn? Well, call Cato's Power Equipment. They've been family owned and serving the Midlands since 1983, and it's helped everyone from weekend warriors to professional landscapers. Third generation owner Ben Cato provides top notch service, great deals, and the mom and pop values that you love. At Cato's, they are proud to offer a wide selection of new and pre owned mowers, tractors, and more. So if you're ready to invest in something new, the friendly team is here to make the process easy, helping you choose the right equipment, find financing options, and keep your gear running strong with expert service and parts. The crew might be young, but they have over 125 years of know-how in outdoor power equipment. So swing by Cato's Power Equipment today. They'll help you power up your next project. Call them at 803-254-3711. That's 803-254-3711. Or better yet, come by today and experience their superior service and selection.
Again, live from ProSwing out here on Forest Drive. We want you to come by and hang out today and tomorrow and join us as we have got a lot going on. Number one, you can hang out and watch the Masters and hang around with us. As again, all the shows will be here 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Also, if you want to play a little golf, they got 260 courses. You can play one of the courses. I don't think you can play the Masters. They seem to have some pretty strict rules about that, Preston. They are, speaking of pretentious, pretty pretentious down there in Augusta about what they remember. They don't have fans down there.
Patrons, correct?
That is correct.
I do like that.
Patrons, but you can come by, and if you play this week, if you come by and play around here, you could be going to the Masters final round on Sunday. That's right. If you play around here, you will be signed up for a drawing that we will have on Friday at 5:30 with a chance to go to the Masters on Sunday. So make sure you come by and hang out with us again over here on Forest Drive. We are at ProSwing today and tomorrow as we get you ready for the Masters. We'll talk more about that as we continue to go along. Last night, the Champions Dinner, cheeseburger sliders, firecracker shrimp, a delicious sounding steak. You had Papa Chef's meatballs and ravioli. None of this is what Xavier Leggett likes to fix at his house.
This is true. This is true. Our guy who somehow slid under the radar while he was in Columbia has become a massive star. And I don't know whether he's just turning the level up or we're just discovering, but our guy is back. And he has a recipe, I guess. Tyler, can we get clip number 23? Let's hear Xavier Leggett in his famous coon recipe.
I know that you eat raccoon, so if I wanted a perfect raccoon meal, take me from start to finish, what I gotta do?
For yourself, right? First you need to go in the woods. You gotta have some coon dogs that's trained to go. Once you pass that, boy, you just skin them. You cut a hole about the size of your pinky down behind the back of his head. Pull a dang on, what can I say? A leg sleeve on the leg. You see what I'm saying? pull it just like that. And once you do that, man, you just cut a hole right across the chin. Just take your 2 fingers, pull the guts and everything out of them, strip them out. And then after that, man, you just wash them out, put them in a pressure cooker, let the meat fall out the bone. After that, it's going to be like chopped up meat. And after that, man, you just put some curry peppers on it. We got our little own thing of seasoning that we mix up, man. We can't give y'all everything now.
I was about to say, what type of seasoning we put?
Man, it's a little bit of everything, man. But you got to put some spices on it, some herbs, and then that'll be the way to make the best coon.
Okay, and most importantly, I didn't quite catch all that.
Okay.
I'm gonna need that written down on a piece of paper.
Because you're gonna do it.
B, he said something about ripping out the guts or something. And at that point I went.
Well, I mean, it's a matter of perspective, right? Because if you eat any meat, you're gonna have to rip out the guts. If you eat chicken, you have
I don't
to
have to. I don't have to.
If you fished before, you have to scale
There's a
the
reason
fish.
I've gone away from cooking fish.
You know, these are things you have to do if you're preparing meat. Not for me. As I said, I would pass, Tyler. And just for reconfirmation, this is a go or a no for you.
I can't say I've ever eaten raccoon in my life. I will say, if you want to get the whole recipe, the video on Twitter does have closed captioning, so you can catch everything that he said if you didn't understand it the first time.
Tyler, you didn't answer the question, though. Is this a go or a no for you?
I feel like I would try it. Like, if you gave me a bowl of raccoon seasoned up the way he said with spices and herbs, then I would give it a shot.
803-404-6100. Go or no, raccoon, as specifically laid out by our guy Xavier Leggett.
I feel number one, Tyler said a bowl.
A bowl of coon?
Like, that doesn't sound appetizing either.
Would you want to put it in a wrap?
That I might be a little more.
Yeah, you could go like a chili, like a stew. You know,
chili. Now, a chili. I think and it's still okay. That might be the direction.
I guess
it was just the word bowl.
So the question becomes, like, what's the consistency of the meat? Is it like a ground beef where you wouldn't maybe know the difference if you looked at it?
I feel like it's gonna be a chicken type, or maybe I don't know. The consistency of the meat, maybe more alligator. I don't know. I feel like it's gonna be a tougher meat.
Well, that's why you got to cook it in the pressure cooker for a long time.
For a long time. Also, this is me speaking, not Preston or Tyler or anybody else who wants to about the game. I have a hard time eating cute and cuddly meat, and I feel like I've seen too many videos of people with pet raccoons, and so therefore, I also feel bad about eating that.
Man, listen here. I'll eat a raccoon before I have one as a pet. Get that out of here. Those animals either deserve to be eaten, trapped,
oh good lord,
or left in the wild.
Oh my goodness!
You keeping a coon as a pet, you are the one with the issue.
Oh wow. Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. What's up with that? Out of all the animals you could choose as a pet, we have dogs, we have cats, we have birds, hamsters. You choose a raccoon, you're the issue.
Okay. Hey, David said it's a go. Add some hot sauce to it. I bet it's pretty good.
I like it.
Another texter weighs in with it's a go.
There
Joey from Sumter.
Now we're talking.
That's a go for me. Raccoons and squirrels, but I'm not messing with a possum.
I have a line.
Ronnie goes with had it as barbecue. Really good.
Like it.
Richard says best meat you will ever eat. Raccoon is my favorite meal. If you don't hunt, I get not eating it. Yeah, that's me. Shannon says no way, no how, heck no. York goes with consistency of chicken stewed. Have had it many times.
That would be a go or a no. I didn't understand what that is.
He said he had it many times. And then Chris goes with had raccoon stew and also raccoon and crock pot with potatoes and carrots like a chuck roast.
You hear him say had. That doesn't mean they have.
That's a good point.
I had liver growing up also. I won't do that again.
All right, we'll roll along here. Several of y'all weighing in live from ProSwing. It's the early game.
Preston here for Absolute Glass, the premier glass company of the Midlands, offering auto, home, and business glass repair. So if your glass is damaged, shattered, cracked, or broken, they can handle the job. Cracked windshield? No problem. They'll come out to your location and replace it for you, usually for free, and they work directly with the insurance to take away the headache. That's right. They'll come out to wherever you are. It does not matter. They will come out to you, take care of the job, and then take away the trash so you don't have to worry about it. That's what the folks at Absolute Glass do. Now, if you're at home and you're looking to increase the value of your home, you could do that with new windows or mirrors, and Absolute Glass will take care of that for you too. Windows, mirrors, shower enclosures. Say it all the time. If you can see through it, Ray and Marianne at Absolute Glass can do it. So check them out online at absoluteglassinc.com. That's online at absoluteglassinc.com.
It's time for another look at traffic and weather from the Wetzel's Automotive Traffic Center. Fortunately, that vehicle fire seems to be out of the way out there at I-26 eastbound at exit 113. So still some slows through that area as traffic is starting to ease up a little bit. But other than that, everything looking pretty okay right now as we are just ahead of 7 o'clock here in Columbia. Taking a look at the weather, still sitting right around 50 degrees here in downtown Columbia. Today will get up to 67 degrees with plenty of sunshine before the rain returns tomorrow with the high of 71. That's your traffic and weather on the early game.
7 a.m. as we are live this morning from ProSwing out here on Forest Drive. And you can come by and hang out with us today and tomorrow. Not just the early game, but all the shows from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Come on by, and you've even got a chance to get yourself to the Masters on Sunday. Little Sunday Masters action. Actually, Preston took in a Sunday Masters one year. It was the year Tiger Woods chipped in on 16. I don't remember specifically what year that was. Might have been 05 or 06. Seems about right. But it is quite the experience on Masters Sunday. And I'll be honest, if you live in Columbia, you can actually do it upright. This is what we did that year. We went down early in the morning, called a bunch of the golfers, I think it was, I want to say, I could be wrong on this because memory, I'm getting older.
Memory's funny.
Memory will treat you funny. But back then, it was my father and I. We went down, we watched all of the morning stuff, and it was, I think, Tiger and Phil teed off in the final pairing that morning or that afternoon, and we watched them for about 2 holes, got in the car, came on back, and then you had the great view on the couch to watch, not fighting the crowds. And obviously you've seen my size, not having to weasel my way to the front to be able to get a view. It's an incredible, if you live in Columbia, if you live in Aiken, wherever you're listening this morning, I'm telling you, it's worth the trip. The Masters is a bucket list item. I think you got to take it in once. So if you come here to ProSwing today or tomorrow and you play a round of golf, you play around here, guess what? You're entered in for a chance to win Sunday tickets to the Masters, and we'll do the drawing live again on Friday at 5:30 p.m. in the evening with Jay and Elijah. So come on out, hang out with us today and tomorrow. Last night, all right, give them a little bit of props. A win is a win, and when you win, you celebrate a win. Doesn't matter if you're not winning much against the big name teams, the SEC teams. South Carolina gets the job done, 13-3 in 7 innings over USC Upstate. Dalton Mayshore with a grand slam. That means coming up in about 30 minutes, we will have our Palmetto Citizens Grand Slam giveaway. Somebody's going to win $450. But the big thing from that last night, Preston, they win convincingly. Everybody feels better about themselves.
Yeah,
they should feel better about themselves.
Yeah, you feel better. Obviously, you better than losing, obviously, but then also just to kind of get that bad taste out of your mouth out of the loss of the weekend series and provide you momentum moving forward into the next series. Again, what we feel as fans or what I feel as a pundit, that doesn't matter to the team. The team has to go out and continue to play, continue to believe themselves, and they have to feel like they can still get things going this year. So whatever you feel as a fan, that's fine. I think you're entitled to that, the way you view the season. But for them, this win is very important for them going into the next weekend.
And they will get that weekend will get going against Texas A&M. Texas A&M, a team that was scuffling along, was struggling a little bit, and then last week went to Knoxville. And, they took 2 of 3 from Tennessee, but they swept Tennessee on Saturday. They played 2 games on Saturday due to the potential for inclement weather on Sunday there in Knoxville. And Tennessee won the first one in that contest, but then proceeded to drop both of them to Texas A&M as Texas A&M kind of got the bats rolling on them. I believe it was a run ruling in the second game. Texas A&M is now 3-9 in conference, 17-15 overall. They are actually they are just above South Carolina. Florida is 1-11, and Missouri is 0-12 in conference right now as things go.
Yeah, what's my guy? What's the coach down in Florida? What's his name?
Kevin O'Sullivan.
Kevin O'Sullivan is looking at Todd Golden like, thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you. And Billy Napier also. He's like, listen, you basketball teams, y'all keep balling, winning national championships. We're just going to keep not living up to expectations over here on Billy Napier's side. And baseball team, we're just going to keep being sorry over here. Let's just focus everybody's attention. What about that national championship we just won? What a great job. What a great job for them. So, yeah, it is nice to have the benefit of a winning program when you are not living up to your expectations.
Yeah, and again, that series will get going tomorrow night. It'll be on ESPNU. Of course, we'll have coverage for you right here on 107.5. The game starting at 7:30, but that game, that'll be a Thursday, Friday, Saturday series out in College Station. I'm not going to do it again. I'm not going to sit here and label it as the biggest series of the year because we've already done that. And that was last week, Preston, and South Carolina didn't live up to the mantra. And maybe the key is maybe we tell them this is the least important series of the year for them, and they won't have any stress or any problems with it.
I mean, that is a strategy, but I'm not sure that that's going to work for them. It is a important series for them.
It is important
if they have any hopes of postseason play.
Yeah.
Which they again, what you feel or what I feel does not matter to those dudes that are in the dugout. So if they have any feeling that they are going to be trying to attempt to make a postseason run, then yes, this is obviously an important series.
So we have that. Also yesterday, Dawn Staley goes a portaling. The portal moving quickly here, and Dawn Staley playing in the final game of the women's season against Connecticut on Sunday. She's got to act quickly in the portal. I'm sure they were doing some of it prior, but they pick up a big catch yesterday from Tallahassee.
Tenaya Latson, #1 scorer in the nation. Huge addition. Was rumored that she was going to be leaving Tallahassee as early as January. I'm sure when she looked up in the stands and saw nobody cheering for her putting on these 25-point efforts, you probably look around and say, oh, this might be a little bit more fun anywhere. And then also, oh yeah, she was high school teammates with Raven Johnson.
Okay.
That might mean something as far as recruiting is concerned. I don't know if that's considered tampering or if it's just two friends having a conversation. But yes, she will be coming to South Carolina. I think it leads to a lot of interesting discussions about depth charts, playing time. The nerds even get in the conversation. Thank you, Elijah Campbell, with usage rates. Tenaya Latson had 100% usage rate, which I'm not quite sure what that means, but I know it's a lot. So that's not typically how Dawn runs her systems. And so I wonder what that's going to mean for the team moving forward.
Well, what that means is you've got competition. B, it means you've got a young lady in the backcourt now who should be able to get you a basket when you need it. Going out and getting a basket, that's important. And then I think also the third part of that is now you feel like your backcourt is complete, but now you've got to go into the portal and find a front court player. You need that. They've had a run of them, and quite frankly, just and I don't know if Ashlyn Watkins coming back is that person next year. Chloe Kitts, if that's her role next year.
Put an asterisk right there. Strangely enough, a woman named Kitts from the University of Florida entered the transfer portal.
That
we don't know. We don't know what we don't know, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, no, as Travis texts us at the exact same time and says the player sister at Florida, the number 25th ranked player, entered the portal. I guess the 25th ranked portal player, I'm not sure. So, yeah, you go.
And she entered the portal with do not contact.
Which, yeah, if you followed football recruiting, that normally means they know where they're going. Just saying. Okay, yeah, 803-404-6100 on that. Also, yesterday, it had been a nice, quiet spring. We really didn't know much about what was going on. You and I, didn't quite really know much about what was going on over at spring practice for South Carolina. But other people did, Preston Thorne.
Oh, they thought.
Other people thought. And Tyler, let's play. This is Shane Beamer yesterday. Not particularly thrilled with how some people are reporting on spring practice. Here's a very solid 2-minute rant from Shane Beamer, who also has a mic drop at the very end for those who are posting any notes per the scrimmage on Saturday.
So it was very disappointing when an article comes out that says, here's the first team offensive line, second team offensive line, and third team offensive line. I mean, that's horse crap, guys. We don't have a first team, second team, third team right now. We don't. It's freaking April. So for a reporter to come out there and say, here's the third team offensive guard, I mean, what are we doing? So if you come out there and it's 11 on 11 and you watch the offense, 11 people versus the defense, 11 people, and there's Lenore Sellers, yeah, that's probably our first group if there was such a thing. We didn't do any of that. It's drill work, meaning the offensive line are over there with Lonnie Teasley and Greg Atkins, and they're going through drills and they're trying to get better fundamentally. And there might be a guy that might be out there with what you think is the first group because you see Josiah Thompson, and he might just be, that's part of his station in that drill. It's drill work. And again, this isn't Shane sitting up here telling you what to report, but how you sit there and break down, here's the first team, second team, third team, and put that in writing in a drill. Not even against an opponent, not even the tight ends lined up next to the offensive lineman, not even a running back behind the offensive lineman, a drill, which I don't even know what they're doing in the drill. But they sure as heck aren't doing, here's the first team offensive line, second team offensive line, third team offensive line, because I wish I knew that, who it was. So it's disappointing and frustrating for me when we're talking to our players. I've not used the word all spring, first group, second group, third group with our players. We got an A group, B group, C group, and guys that might be redshirting this year are getting work with the A group. Guys that might be a starter for us are getting work with the B group. We just rotate it through that way. So then an article comes out that here's the third team offensive guard when I'm sitting here telling the players we don't even have that because we don't. So if you got a question about something, just ask me before we report. Here's the third team left tackle as well. So again, try and give you guys access and try and make y'all's jobs easy, but also just make sure we're smart with what we're reporting as well. Plus, I love all the insider reports from our scrimmage last weekend about Jaden Sellers. He didn't even scrimmage.
Tyler, that's a masterful job of editing right there because that is a perfect way to put a punctuation mark on it. He didn't even scrimmage.
It
What a
perfectly
tremendous
fits in y'all's. And another thing.
Correct. What a perfect ending, a perfect dismount to, I think, might be the best rant of Shane's career. Now he has several that goes along the lines of great rants that he's done, but that one he threw in a little bit of homage to Allen Iverson.
Yeah,
with this, we're not talking about a practice; we're talking about a drill.
Yeah.
It's a drill. So he did that. He also admonished the reporters. It's an A+ rant. Shane is in regular season form.
it felt like he just needed to do something to spice things. It feels like he's been listening to us on the way.
I'm here for it.
On the way to taking Hunter
It's
and
a
the kids to
drill.
school, and it felt like Hunter was like, Dad, the early game has been saying you guys aren't doing enough. It's too quiet. And so Shane went to his office and thought about it and was like, all right, I got the rant to give some audio for the early game to get them really going. And I feel like he did that for us.
And I appreciate it because this is enough food for me to eat off of for at least 2 shows. I mean, there's so much information and analysis that I can get out of this particular rant. But when we come back, we can maybe have, I guess, based on what Shane said, some roster conversations. I guess we don't have to rely on our insider to give us false information, even though that's what the whole fun of spring practice is all about, Shane.
803-404-6100. Walt joins in and says, it's April, Preston. Why are we talking depth charts? And then gives you the laughing emoji. Yeah, we got a lot going on here is what's happening. Also, last night, just for the record, didn't see this one coming. How about those Braves? Break them up. Take down the Phillies in game 1 there in Atlanta, 7-5 last night.
Ready to go.
All of a sudden, an explosion. Sean Murphy came back and hit a 3-run home run. We'll do more on Braves talk on with the Chop Talk tomorrow. 803-404-6100. Preston Thorne, Bill Gunner, live from ProSwing. Tyler Head back in studio currently. He will be out here at 9 a.m. this morning, but we got a lot going on. Hope you're up and moving on your Wednesday morning. It is the early game. Bill Gunner for Mid-State Roofing, where for nearly 30 years, Larry Leitner, the owner, the founder, the family leader, has been the leader in the roofing and waterproofing industry. And it is that proven history, those 30 years, that is your assurance that their professionals will provide proper advice, service, and results to the needs of your facility. They're going to do it in a manner both safe and pleasing to you and your operation. So whether it's a high-rise or a hospital, manufacturing or industrial, Mid-State Roofing designs and installs bonded systems with a protective guarantee that'll keep your operation dry and running long into the future. And most importantly, they're there for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, ready to help out. That's right. You'll speak with an on-call technician or a Mid-State Roofing employee. Just give them a phone call, 803-356-1919. Again, it's 803-356-1919. If you've got a leak, let Mid-State Roofing take a peek.
Time for another look at your traffic and weather in the Wetzel's Automotive Traffic Center. It's just a bad morning out there at I-26 eastbound near exit number 115. Had the vehicle fire a little bit earlier. Now we have an accident that's blocking 2 left lanes down there at 26 eastbound near exit number 115. But again, other than that, everything in and around the city relatively okay. Have another accident at I-26 eastbound. This one at Harbison Boulevard, which is exit number 103. But besides that, everything looking fine so far this morning. Currently sitting at about 47 degrees. High today, going to get up to 67. Lots of sunshine. So traffic and weather from the Wetzel's Automotive Traffic Center on the early game.
Rolling along live from ProSwing out here on Forest Drive. There during the break, walked over to one of the HD training driving range simulators. Hit me about 5 drives. I would say very inconsistent, Preston. I'd say 2 were serviceable, 2 were really bad, and 1, well, wouldn't have served very well in a captain's choice. I'll just say that.
Is that the one that's registered in red?
No, the one that goes well left and stops at the 150.
Okay.
That would be the really bad one. There was 2 that you can kind of see that are kind of that yellow line, that they're the yellow line that kind of went down the middle. There's another one just to the left of that was serviceable. A third just to the right of the yellow line that's bad. And then the red one, the red one is the one that you're like, ooh, yeah, that one was not hit well either. So yeah, come on by, hang out with us out here today. Again, today and tomorrow, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. We are live here at ProSwing, hanging out on Forest Drive. And again, if you play a round of golf out here, you book a tee time, you schedule a round, you will be entered in a chance to win a tickets to Sunday's final round at Augusta National, the Masters. So come on by and hang out, even if you don't make it this morning. Come on by later this afternoon for lunch or later in the evening and see Jay and Elijah from 3 to 6. 803-404-6100. All right, so we were told, don't worry about depth charts. Those depth charts, those mean, nasty depth charts, hate those things. Don't like anybody reporting on them. But there was positions that people kind of liked and looked at.
Yeah, there was a lot. There were questions that were answered and questions that were asked. And one of the questions that they were talking about is what are they going to do replacing the productivity of Kyle Kennard at the new spot, the edge position. And so Tyler, let's hear what Shane had to say about that.
I wouldn't say we're in a good spot as far as anybody on the roster. No, that we've talked about at this point of potentially doing that. We need to get our defensive tackle position solidified, who those guys are going to be, and then we need to get that edge position solidified. And we've got some young guys right now that are going through spring practice that we have high expectations for, but I don't feel great about the position right now. Not the talent in the room, but just the depth in the room. We were already a little bit thin to begin with, before spring practice, and then we lose Jalen. Wendell decides to transfer. Now already thin group is even thinner with 2 guys down or gone for now. One gone, one not gone, but you know what I mean. So we need to continue to solidify the depth in there for sure. And, there's different avenues to do that. But as far as anybody on our team right now, no.
Yeah, let's not forget it. To me, if we're going to get all sports talk and break something down for a second, monster spring for Desmond Umizulu, who was a 4-star recruit. I remember JC coming on. I remember a couple of people saying it. He was just a raw player that everything was there. The length, the size, the speed, the quickness, but he needed to get stronger and he needed to refine technique. Well, he's had 2 years to kind of do that now. And he's had to play those 2 years. Didn't have to play quite as much last year with Kyle Kennard coming in and the emergence of Dylan Stewart. But it is a really big one for Desmond Umizulu, in my opinion.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense because you gave up all those intangibles, but at the end of the day, you got to be able to make plays. And when Shane was talking about the room, he was saying how, yes, maybe those guys are talented, but there's not enough of them. And it's not what you want to hear when you're sitting in that room as a player. That doesn't feel or sound great to you when you say, like, yeah, we probably need to do some things in this room, because there's bodies in the room. But obviously the coaches feel like they need to either get more or they need to get better, and they're going to address that in the transfer portal.
Yeah, I mean, look, we know Dylan Stewart. Then I mentioned Yumi Zulu. JT Gear is back for what seems like his 12th year. Brian Thomas Jr. has been around, it feels like, for a long time. Those are the four guys in particular right now. And then we mentioned Jalen Brown. He's out with an injury. They're trying to find, it feels like a three-man rotation, because I guess there is a difference between the big fellas in the middle and that battery lifespan that they have and get tired of, and the little quick twitchy guys on the edge.
Yeah, there's a lot of difference. The guys on the edge could probably play more snaps because they're not involved in as many double teams, not as involved in the straightforward run game. But you play as many people as who can play. You don't want to just say we're gonna come into this game with 6 guys just because we can. If you only have 4 dudes that can go, you need to make those dudes. You need to make them go. And so there's bodies in the room, and as I said, no, we're not talking depth charts here. I know depth charts are not happening in April. I know this is not the time to have that discussion. But if I, as a player, heard coach being like, yeah, we probably need to address something in that would either make me step my game up or make me understand where exactly I stood as far as the depth chart was concerned.
Now, part of most of Shane's rant centered around the offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
You're pretty happy about Boaz Stanley. I know J.C. Sherbert was also happy about him, and I believe it was J.C. who had Boaz as the potential starting center.
I have no idea if Boaz can play. I just like his name.
Okay, all right.
I'm not happy about his playing time. Shane, I'm just reporting from the name bureau here, and I like Boaz's name. So if I was just going to do a depth chart on names, he'd be at the top.
Let's hear, because this is a pivotal thing, especially with Lenore Sellis back, replacing a veteran center, Rashawn Lee, who was around for I think about 21 years. He's finally out of there, so they got to replace the center position. And here's Shane Beamer talking about that yesterday.
Yeah, a little of both. Certainly, we're worried about Lenoris and him taking the next step from a physical standpoint and mental standpoint, no question about it. But also, we're going to have a new center, and we're going to have a new backup center, most likely, and chance we may have a brand new third team center whenever that depth chart is solidified, which right now it's not. And those guys, I think it's kind of each position, kind of its own entity. Lenoris has got to be Lenoris and continue to get better, but we also knowing that the center does so much in our offense as well, bringing that guy along, whatever that may be. Bless you. So those guys are working. We're fortunate that the guys that are working at center, they're guys that have been around college football for a little bit. It's not like they're freshmen out of high school, for sure. So a little bit of both, but that's what spring's for, and getting guys out of their comfort zone and continuing to grow. And that's what we're doing right now.
Almost got away from him. He almost went depth charts.
Yeah,
he got close, and then he backtracked. I get the feeling that the depth chart rank came before that, but first team, second team, third team. Oh, we don't have a depth chart. Sorry about that.
Right.
A, B, C.
There will be folks that are there. The center is hugely important. Everybody recognizes what the center does as far as calling out protections, making adjustments in the run games, doing a lot of things that maybe a freshman quarterback wasn't able to do last year. That Lenore Sellis, you could rely on a sixth-year senior to do some of those things. And this year, the roles are going to be flip-flops. So that might be something to keep your eye on as far as not just the physical aspect of playing center, but center is the quarterback of the offensive line and really the person who controls the offense to a large degree. So that's going to be something for them to really get taken care of.
One other thing, let's get this in, Tyler. This is Shane yesterday talking about the timeline to determine a backup quarterback. One of the key actual battles of the spring here, Shane, yesterday on determining a backup QB.
Yeah, I don't think it's anything, David, coming out of spring practice where you say we have to say this is the backup or the number 2 guy, because to me that's a competition that is ongoing. It really is. Dante has done some nice things. Air did some nice things on Saturday. Cutter Woods, right before I came in here, led the his offense that he was out there on the field with down the field during a 2-minute drill and made some nice throws to kick a field goal in the last play of practice to win it, if you will. So all those guys are doing some good things. I haven't talked to Mike about it, Coach Shula, but in my mind, it's one of those, coming out of the spring, that competition's ongoing, and let's get through this, compete through the summer, early in the training camp. But certainly when you start talking about, dividing up reps as you start getting ready for the first game, that really would need to be about a week and a half out, 10 days to 2 weeks out would be the thing in my mind. But if we know this guy's going to be the backup, then, go ahead and make that decision when we're ready to.
We will get more into that, get your take on that. I saw you perked up a little bit.
He almost slipped up.
We gotta hit a break, and when we come back, it'll be our Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union Grand Slam giveaway. We'll draw a winner and let you know who that is. Gamecocks hit a Grand Slam last night. You're listening to the early game. Bill Gunner for the mortgage guru, Jacob Crowder, and First Palmetto Bank. All right, rolling into April, and you might have started looking at those interest rates. I know you're probably keeping an eye on the stock market and certain things like that, but one of the things you might be wanting to do this summer is refinance your home. See if you can get a lower payment, see if you get a better deal. I know sometimes you look at the interest rates and you think, well, that's not going to be the case. The thing is, you didn't call the mortgage guru. You didn't call Jacob Crowder and find out what is available to you. Trust me, it is worth the phone call. It's exactly what I did just a few years ago, and he helped me get a great interest rate, a great mortgage payment, a great down payment. And these are all things that are very, very important when you start to think about refinancing and or purchasing a brand new home. So give the mortgage guru, Jacob Crowder, a call today, 803-719-1005. Again, that's 803-719-1005. He's the mortgage guru, Jacob Crowder with First Palmetto Bank.
Let's take another look at your traffic and weather for your ride in this morning in the Wetzel's Automotive Traffic Center. Things starting to get a little bit busier out there with people getting up and going to work and everything. Still have that accident out at I-26 eastbound at exit number 115. Again, that's been a problem spot through a lot of the morning. And then also still have the accident at I-26 eastbound, exit 103 up at Harbison as well. Besides that, everything looking okay. Currently sitting at 47 degrees here in downtown Columbia. High today 67 with plenty of sunshine. It's your traffic and weather on the early game.
Bill Gunner, Preston Thorne, Tyler Head back in studios. We get you up and get you going live from ProSwing out here on Forest Drive, as we will be here again all day. I want you to come by and hang out. I've been hitting shots in between the breaks, so if I miss a rejoin, I apologize. I'm over there working on my game, Preston, getting ready for the summer. So come on by and join us. We'll tell you more about that. But Tyler, last night, South Carolina with a grand slam. Let's hear the Dalton Mayshore home run highlight clip here before we give away our Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union grand slam giveaway.
And he hits this one hard to deep left center field. Drifting back is Newman. Forget about it. Grand slam. Dalton Mayshore. He unloads on a pitch to bring home Petrie and carry on and Hollins, and now finally coming to the dish, Dalton Mayshore's first home run as a Gamecock. A grand slam in the first inning.
It took all of one inning, Preston Thorne. I'm going to brag. I called it. I was saying run ruling and a grand slam. I felt it last night. It took one inning. That's exactly what happened. And South Carolina goes on to a 13-3 win. So back in studio, Tyler Head has drawn a winner. We have a winner, $450. Somebody's about to have a great back end of the week. Tyler Head, who do we have as a winner?
Yeah, the winner for the Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union Grand Slam giveaway is Jillian DeQuatro. Jillian DeQuatro, if you are listening, congratulations, you have won. I believe our promo department will be reaching out to you. If you're not listening and somebody knows Jillian, let her know that she has won $450.
If you know Jillian, you might want to say, hey, what are you getting us for dinner tonight? Or
Jillian, you've won $350.
yeah. You
$100 notification fee.
Congratulations. Say that name one more time there, Tyler.
Jillian DeQuatro.
DeQuatro. All right. Congratulations. All right. So the pot resets for the Palmetto Citizens Grand Slam giveaway. It'll be $25 starting tomorrow night against Texas A&M. If you want to be a part of that, all you got to do is go to 1075thegame.com and sign up there, and you will be a part of our Grand Slam giveaway, something you certainly want to be a part of. Last night, Paul Maneri, after the game, Preston, he says what we all say, it just feels good to win. This is clip number 15, Tyler. Let's hear Paul Maneri after the game talking about feeling good just to win.
Well, it's good to win a game. Dalton certainly gave us a big lift there in the first inning with the grand slam and Petrie 2-run homer. But I knew these guys could hit, so I never really felt comfortable with the 6-0 lead. I thought Susie came in and did a pretty admirable job. And the big out was when Marlott came in with the bases loaded and got that out there and kept them, one swing of the bat there with the bases loaded, and we got ourselves a ball game. Then I thought Jordan Carry-On's ball into the right field corner with the bases loaded was another big hit for us. And of course, Caden Gaskin hitting the walk-off home run. That was a really cool moment for him. So it was a good win for us, get our 20th win of the year. I didn't think it would take this long to get to 20 wins, but at least we got there. So we'll keep moving forward.
Oh, the Preston Thorne face of, I don't know if you want to say that.
No, well, there's that. I just got Tyler. If you hit a home run to end a run rule game, is that a walk off?
Well, Tyler, hold on.
Okay.
If you get a tip in at the end of a game, is it a game winning shot?
Well, I think these are good questions. You were on that last week. He did win with that, and he did take them over the lead. I'm just looking for clarification. Tyler, what you got?
It is a more anticlimactic walk off. I mean, it ends the game, but it's not a wow, you broke the tie or you were down and you are suddenly ahead to end the game. It's a little different, but I mean, it technically ended the game.
So it's a walk off with an asterisk by it.
Sure, we'll say that. Which, by the way, if you saw it, it wasn't like the hardest hit ball. He caught it off the end of the bat. I'm surprised it went out, to be honest with you.
So it wasn't even a no brainer. It was barely got over.
Tyler, hold on, Preston. Tyler, as a member, not particularly a proud member, but as a member of the Never Hit a Home Run Club in any kind of actual baseball game, like actual, not wiffle ball. I don't care if it hits off the handle and bounces off 6 people and goes out. A home run is a home run.
That's true. I'm just like from the optics of it. Like when you watch baseball long enough, you know when a ball comes off the bat when it's going to go out, and that one didn't look like it, and it just kept going and going and going, and just kind of cleared the wall. So I mean, good for him. But it wasn't the dramatic power shot that we're used to when it comes to like walk-offs, right? That like Sports Center type moment. It wasn't quite that.
Okay. Well, however, again, I feel like I had one opportunity in my lifetime. We were playing like the 12, 13-year-old league, but they took us down to like the little T-ball fields and then like, I was just like, this is my chance. I can get one out of this little T-ball field that I grew up playing. It ruined my swing for the day. Like I think I went 0 for 4 with like 3 strikeouts and a dribbler back to the mound in a little league game. But yeah, that's good for him. Good for South Carolina. Again, we'll have coverage for you starting tomorrow night. South Carolina goes out to College Station to take on Texas A&M, who isn't exactly setting the world on fire in baseball either. They're 17-15 overall. They're 3-9 in conference. They did take 2 of 3 from Tennessee last week, but again, this isn't a team who's just out there lighting up. Again, Paul Maneri is happy to get to 20 wins. Texas A&M still needs 3 to get to.
Yeah, they're not there yet. Yeah, I don't know. You can spin this however you want. You can say that they haven't been playing well or they're playing very well. I don't know, because their last series that they won was against the number 1 team in the nation, which we did not fare well against. So you can look at their most recent work or you can look at their total body of work. We'll see which team shows up when we face them this weekend.
803-404-6100, how you can weigh in if you want to. One of my favorite segments. Preston has another thing he's ready to discuss with you when we come back. Stay tuned for that. You're listening to Bill Gunner, Preston Thorne. Tyler head back in studio. He'll be making his way out here to ProSwing here just shortly. You're listening to the early game.
Preston here for our good friends at Integrated Media. Listen, we've been trying to tell you all this time that you needed to get yourself ready for all of the events that were happening. So you missed a big game. Maybe you missed a big tournament. Well, guess what? Big golf tournament on the way. Don't put yourself in a position where you can't enjoy all of these wonderful sporting activities outside however you want to enjoy them. You can enjoy them on Samsung Terrace TVs that are waterproof. You can enjoy it on Sonos outdoor speakers for TV and music, so you can hear all the sights and sounds of the wonderful golf tournament that is happening. Are those birds real? Are they piped in? I don't know. We're going to be able to hear that on your good system. Wi-Fi that works indoors and outdoors. Controlling all your devices from just one remote. That's my personal favorite. So you don't have to flip and find them. You can only be responsible for losing one. So call Nathan and Michael at 803-948-8327. That's 803-948-8327. Or reach them online at integratedmediainc.com.
Wrapping up hour number 2 live from ProSwing out here on Forest Drive, where you can come by and hang out, join us, and we got some donuts for you, and we'll kind of hang around all morning, all day. Really, we'll be here. We will be here from 6 a.m. and this is today and tomorrow, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. today and tomorrow. Come by and see us again. Preston and I will be here from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. We might hang around a little bit longer, hit a few golf balls. We got the HD training driving range up, and got some coffee and some donuts. So we're hanging around out here, and you can come by and play around. That'll register you for a chance to win tickets to Sunday's final round at the Masters. So if you want to do that, come on by and play around during your lunch break. Watch a little bit. They got multiple TVs in here, so you can keep up with coverage of the Masters. Par 3 tournament today, which I've been to, is always a lot of fun. They get kind of the families and the kids involved, and that's really neat to see. So come on by and hang out with us today, and hit some golf balls, watch some golf, and talk a little South Carolina football, Preston Thorne.
Well, when you talk of South Carolina football, make sure you're quoting the right sources, because you may have been on an insider board and you may have thought that Jaden Sellers was scrimmaging last week, and maybe he wasn't. I don't know. So if you want to talk South Carolina football, you got to make sure you get the right sources, which adds me to this. And another thing.
Oh, boy.
You coaches out there who try and act like depth charts don't exist, when you're like, oh, we haven't done anything official yet. Everybody's in open competition. It's all up there. You better compete every single rep because you never. Stop. I've been a player and I've been a coach. And at both stages, I knew it was all a total farce. When I was a player on the C team who was struggling for reps, I knew I wasn't Langston Moore. I knew I wasn't Cleveland Pickney. There was no open competition. It was a wrap. I was on the C squad. If you listen to that last clip that Shane just said about Cutter Woods and he said because he was about to say the third offense but then he said Cutter Woods and his offense. You know why it's his offense? Because it's not the first offense, Shane. So, coaches, please, let's relax with this. Everybody knows this game is being played. We can all play into the charade, but understand that depth charts do exist. And even if they're not posted or they're not spoken on, you let one of those third team guys go in with the first group and see how quick they get pulled out. You let one of those first string guys not go in when they're supposed to and see how quick they get yelled at. Depth charts exist. Let's not act like they don't.
All right, I'm going to take the side of serious for a second here. In this day and age where the transfer portal is so easy to enter, Wendell Gregory just entered it. Does Shane get mad because a player, I mean, you mentioned it, player knows, right?
Yeah.
Player's out there on the practice field. One went ahead of it, two went ahead. Is he going to call me or the walk-on? Me or the walk-on? Oh, good, I got called. Okay, third. I'm what was the famous program line where the crazy guy smashes the glass with his head because he goes place at the table or seat at the table. Remember that? Remember that scene? Well, anyway, but does he worry about this because somebody reads it, one of his players or one of the parents reads it and it's like, wait, my son is third team?
Well, parent,
maybe, and then they have a conversation. Hey, I saw on the Big Spur or the Gamecock Central or Garnet and Cocky or whatever.
Well,
I saw that you were third team. Maybe we should think about transferring.
That leads to another thing. Parent, you're a loser. You should not be reading inside message board about your child in a college sports athletic. But that's another conversation. But yes, that might be something that they're worried about. However, the time is coming, whether it's going to be happening now or whether it's going to be happening next week after the spring game. We'll talk about this. There will be conversations to be had about what you see as your expectation and what the coaches see as their reality as far as playing time is concerned. So, yeah, we can postpone it, but if I'm at practice, I see what's happening. I see these groups. I see the groups that I'm in. I see the groups that I'm not in. I see depth charts. I understand how this works. It's really simple.
I mean, in theory, whoever's behind Dylan Stewart, you want him to be like, I'm going to beat him out.
Yeah.
But you also want him to be kind of like not angry when Dylan Stewart goes out there ahead of him as the starter.
Yeah, what they call and then this thing they try and disguise it. All right, we don't say first, second, or third. We call them alphas. Or we don't call them alphas. We call them the A group, or we call them the black squad, or
the white team,
the
Garnet team.
And then you look around, it's like, oh yeah, all the other starters are on the white squad too. I'm sorry, what happened here?
Yeah, if you didn't catch it, Coach Beamer yesterday, I think he was just doing it because it's been a nice quiet spring. There's been nothing to
Coach Beamer's
about.
been on football teams. He knew when he know what squad he was on that Virginia Tech squad. He was like, am I going out where Michael Vick's team is going out? Oh, maybe not.
Yeah, well, it's a good one. It's a good one. I have not seen, so I do not know who he's referencing when he says Jaden Sellers was mentioned, and I have not seen the report from whichever entity put it out that Jaden Sellers was good. So I can't speak to that, but we might have to play that one more time.
Oh, absolutely.
That is
appreciate it, Shane, for giving us something to talk about today. I really, sir, you did us a solid.
A very good thing there. So, and another thing, Preston says players aren't dumb.
They're not.
They can look around and notice who's going first, second, and third.
Very clearly.
803-404-6100, how you can weigh in. Texter says, first off, parent, you're a loser. Heck yeah, Preston. Walt weighs in. Nothing fires me up more than a little Wednesday morning depth chart talk.
My guy, Walt. I appreciate you, Walt.
Rodney goes back and says, if it ends the game, it's a walk-off.
Okay. And listen, I'm just interested. I haven't made a decision on this. I'm just interested.
All right. We'll get into more of that. Also, go back to some more of these text messages. Rooster P from Indianapolis. I feel like a raccoon would go good with ramen noodles.
My mind has been expanded.
We'll get to more of that. 803-404-6100. Hour 3 on the way from ProSwing. It's the early game. Bill Gunner for Corley Pool Solutions. Let me tell you, today is the day you need to call Tracy Corley and his team right now and line up your pool maintenance. You don't need to wait until the weekend. You don't need to wait for the weather to warm up. You need to do it today, because the key to being ready for those summer days is having your pool maintained weekly. And Tracy Corley and his team understand that. That's why they have been the leader in the pool maintaining business for over 20 years, because they believe in providing the absolute highest quality swimming pool service at the most affordable price to you and your family. With flat rate pricing, including all of the chemicals, you know exactly what you're paying for, and you know exactly what you're getting. Call Corley Pool Solutions today. 803-445-8109. Again, that's 803-445-8109. Give Corley Pool Solutions a call today. Tell them Bill Gunner sent you.
Now for another look at your traffic and weather in the Wetzel's Automotive Traffic Center as things are rolling along here on your Wednesday morning. Still have the accident out at I-26 eastbound and exit number 113 with a left lane blocked out there. Be careful through that area. Also still accident at exit 103 on I-26 eastbound as well. And now an accident at Fernandina Road and St. Andrews Road 2. Again, currently sitting at 47 degrees here in downtown Columbia. Today going to get up to 67 with plenty of sunshine. So your traffic and weather from the Wetzel's Automotive Traffic Center here on the game.
I tell you what, Tyler, go ahead and play.
And he hits this one hard to deep left center field. Drifting back is Newman. Forget about it. Grand slam. unloads on the pitch to bring home Petrie and carry on and Hollins. And now finally coming to the dish, Dalton Mayshore's first home run as a Gamecock. A grand slam in the first inning.
That was the call last night over at Founders Park, and congratulations to our Palmetto Citizens Grand Slam giveaway winner, Jillian DiQuattro, who won $450, all because she just went to the 1075 The Game website, signed up, and she won the drawing earlier this morning back at 7:30. So congratulations to Jillian for winning the Palmetto Citizens Grand Slam giveaway. All that means is we just start over, $25. We're back at the beginning, Preston. More chances to win. And last year it took almost all season to get one. I think we've given away 3 now.
Yeah, this is number 3. Last year it took till we got into the postseason, I believe.
So, yeah. So, congratulations. And I feel with this team, there will be another Grand Slam. So, you want to make sure you go over to our website, 1075thegame.com, and get yourself registered there and make sure you're signed up for the next Grand Slam. Again, it'll start $25 tomorrow night when South Carolina travels to Texas A&M and gets ready to take them on. And with each game, if there's no Grand Slam, the pot will continue to rise by $25. That was last night, 13-3, Preston. It's USC Upstate. And South Carolina, if they've showed us anything this year, they can handle the lower level teams. They're good with that. It is the SEC competition now, or Clemson, North Carolina, that is giving them the problems, and those are the games that build the resume.
Yeah, they have to handle business. They did in the midweek. We'll see what comes next week. They have to win this series if they have future hopes of postseason play.
So that was baseball last night. On the women's basketball side of things, Dawn Staley goes a portaling and picks up a very big recruit that she needs to maybe enhance her backcourt.
Yeah, maybe one number one, at least top 5 folks in the portal. Tanaya Latson from Florida State, leading scorer in the nation, 25 points per game, has been tremendous at her whole time at Florida State. Side note, also a high school teammate of Raven Johnson, who also announced that she was coming back last night. So maybe you might consider that they picked up 2 pieces in the portal. I don't know how you would consider that. I think it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out, because Tanaya is ball dominant. Shout out to Elijah Campbell with the statistic of her being 100% usage rate. And if you're anything like me, you have no idea what that means, but 100% must means a lot. She uses a lot. I would assume that she's on the ball, dribbling the ball, shooting the ball, passing the ball. She was 100% of usage rate while she was at Florida State. That doesn't tend to be the style of offense that Dawn plays. So I'm looking to see how that either her style of basketball is transformed, or if maybe things change a little bit for Dawn's style.
So we'll get into we've got that. We'll continue to monitor what they do in the transfer portal and where they go from there. Be very interesting to see. That was kind of the South Carolina news of yesterday. Also, we'll get back into Shane Beamer, who had a very unhappy rant there regarding maybe some reporting Preston Thorne.
Yeah, insider reporting, which is definitely a high level and a staple of college football coverage, is that we all rely on the insiders.
Let's hear that. This is Shane Beamer yesterday. Not happy. This is, again, clip number 1. Tyler, let's hear this coming from Shane Beamer yesterday, discussing depth charts, if you will, something that's near and dear to Preston's heart, and Shane Beamer just shuts it all down.
So it was very disappointing when an article comes out that says, here's the first team offensive line, second team offensive line, and third team offensive line. I mean, that's horse crap, guys. We don't have a first team, second team, third team right now. We don't. It's freaking April. So for a reporter to come out there and say, here's the third team offensive guard, I mean, what are we doing? So if you come out there and it's 11 on 11 and you watch the offense, 11 people versus the defense, 11 people, and there's Lenora Sellers, yeah, that's probably our first group if there was such a thing. We didn't do any of that. It's drill work, meaning the offensive line are over there with Lonnie Teasley and Greg Atkins. And they're going through drills and they're trying to get better fundamentally. And there might be a guy that might be out there with what you think is the first group because you see Josiah Thompson, and he might just be, that's part of his station in that drill. It's drill work. And again, this isn't Shane sitting up here telling you what to report, but how you sit there and break down, here's the first team, second team, third team, and put that in writing in a drill. Not even against an opponent, not even the tight ends lined up next to the offensive lineman, not even a running back behind the offensive lineman. A drill, which I don't even know what they're doing in the drill. But they sure as heck aren't doing, here's the first team offensive line, second team offensive line, third team offensive line, because I wish I knew that, who it was. So it's disappointing and frustrating for me when we're talking to our players. I've not used the word all spring, first group, second group, third group with our players. We got an A group, B group, C group, and guys that might be redshirting this year are getting work with the A group. Guys that might be a starter for us are getting work with the B group. We just rotate it through that way. So then an article comes out that here's the third team offensive guard when I'm sitting here telling the players we don't even have that because we don't. So if you got a question about something, just ask me before we report. Here's the third team left tackle as well. So again, try and give you guys access and try and make y'all's jobs easy, but also just make sure we're smart with what we're reporting as well. Plus, I love all the insider reports from our scrimmage last weekend about Jaden Sellers. He didn't even scrimmage.
What a tremendous dismount. A tremendous dismount. Way to cap off a rant. You don't want to just fade trail off a rant. You want to end it with a very strong. And Tyler, I think that was part of you for the editing. Great job of editing that rant. Probably one of Shane's best rants since he's been in as the head coach at the university.
Yeah. Tyler, how did you feel about? Do we still have Tyler? Tyler, you haven't left to come here yet, correct?
Yeah, I'm still here. I'm still.
Okay.
By the way, he went on for another minute or so about Jaden Sellers, but I do have to cap it somewhere for make it radio consumable. But so I thought the high point, if he didn't even practice, was a good note to end on.
Tremendous.
A good way to get the week kind of going there with what he had to say. I say going, but here on Wednesday. Also, we got Masters today coming up. We are again live from ProSwing over here on Forest Drive. That's why I was asking Tyler. Tyler will be making his way out of the studio momentarily to head over here so that he can get ready for the 9 o'clock show, as we are here all day long, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Should be a lot of fun. We'll be here today and tomorrow. You can come by and hang out with us and check out the place. It's a really, really good time. So make sure you come on over and get in on some of the action. You can have a chance to win Sunday Masters tickets just by playing a round of golf here. So come on over and hang out with us again today and tomorrow. You can hit some golf balls. We've been kind of hanging out, hitting here on the HD training driving range, working on the game a little bit. And you can come and do that as well. So a lot to do this morning, 803-404-6100 if you want to weigh in. Also last night, Braves get a victory. How about that? Braves winning 7-5 over the Phillies, Preston Thorne. Is it a start of a comeback?
Hey, man, it's a long season. I did also saw that the Dodgers had lost 3 out of 4 at one point, so you never know what's going to happen here.
There you go. Very, very true. Yeah, Dodgers struggling a little bit. So we'll get more into that. 803-404-6100. We'll get back into some spring talk here with Shane Beamer. Let you listen to some few other things he had to talk about. You're listening to the early game. Bill Gunner for the men's clinic. Dr. Dan Balknight. Let me tell you, right now, guys, is not the time to be putting off your health. If you're aging, if you're 40 and older, you might end up having a few health issues that you didn't really think was going to occur. Maybe you're just not as excited as you used to be. Maybe you don't have the energy you used to not. You don't have the energy you used to have. Maybe you don't. You're losing hair and you're not real sure why. And all these are different kind of symptoms. And that's why at the men's clinic, they understand there's nothing generic about you. So why are you settling for general medical care? You need to call and get a consultation with Dr. Dan Balknight. Do it today, 803-875-MENS. Again, that's 803-875-MENS. Because at the men's clinic, they realize the goal is to make sure that you are living your absolute best life, and they're doing it with individual instruction, not just a general medical practice. So call and schedule an appointment today. 803-875-MENS. Tell them Bill Gunner sent you.
All right, looking at the record, Counts Ferry at 378. Also, got one at Highway 6 at exit 55. That's at I 20. Also, we got one at Old Orangeburg at Old Barnwell. Then we move over to I 26. Fernandina Road at St. Andrews Road, an accident there. I got a one also in 26 eastbound at 302, exit 113. Couple more though. I 378 at I-77 Veterans Memorial Highway there with an accident, and then one just a little up from there at Veterans Memorial Highway near Leesburg Road. So a couple of problems there for you on the roads this morning. Captain Dave, Wetzel Automotive Traffic Center.
8:15 here as we get you up and get you going on your Wednesday morning. Again, we are live out here at ProSwing on Forest Drive, where we are getting set for what should be a very nice Wednesday. I can look out the windows and see the sun has risen. Looks like the temperature will be kind of about low 60s, mid 60s, so a very nice day again. And we'll get to the par 3 contest later on this evening. As I look up Preston Thorne, I don't know if you kind of at an angle, I don't think you can see it on one of the TVs, but it's showing the guys who were walking in last night for the Champions Dinner over at the Masters. And I saw some of the pictures of that coming out, all with their green jackets on. Some big smiling faces.
Do they have to get refitted for those jackets, or do you get one in? Because that would be really cool if you just had to wear the jacket that you won. So like 50 years ago when you was a size 42 and now you're a 50 and you still got to wear that old.
Your arms are all.
That would be cool.
I hadn't thought about that.
But I guess they get refitted because they all fit.
Yeah, well. they all fit. They all look really good with their fitting. But really cool event last night. Again, some of the pictures there on Twitter/X from the event. And again, that's an event I can't wrap my head around. It's hard for me to wrap my head around. Not that I have that kind of money, but an event that you can't buy your way into. No amount of money gets you. The only thing you can do is win a golf tournament. And there is a select few of those guys. I think last night, I mean, granted, there's people that passed away and some like Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods, by the way, couldn't even make it last night, let alone play in the tournament. He wasn't even at the Champions Dinner.
What's up with that? I don't. That guy. Anyway, moving on.
Or he was not in the picture, I should say. But yeah, with all that being said, he was not there. But really cool event. It's sometimes when you have something that's that exclusive, that's that small, and that they do such a great job of releasing so little information about what transpires in that room. I always think it's really, really cool. And again, there's just no amount of money. You can't buy your way in. You have to win a golf tournament that is one of the hardest in the world. And that's a really cool event each and every year. And last night, the Champions Dinner. 803-404-6100. Yesterday, an event you can buy your way into, South Carolina football. You can spend money and get the new suites or season tickets. Well, you shouldn't have to spend any money to go to the spring game, to my knowledge.
Can you buy your way in to get some access to spring practice?
Yeah,
I'm sure.
Yeah,
There's a number.
I'm sure if you gave a number to NIL, you know what? They'd not only bring you in, they'd be like, "Hey, here's a depth chart sheet. Fill this out for us and see what you think. We'll let you do that." But South Carolina spring yesterday, and Shane Beamer talking a little bit yesterday about the actually being honest with players and the transfer portal, Preston.
Yeah, this is where conversations are going to happen with these players. Whether they're happening now, as I've just stated in another thing, players are not dumb. They see with their eyes where they're starting to fit into the rosters, especially as you come up into the second scrimmage, and players get an opportunity, thankfully now, to make decisions about their future. So coaches have to be honest, players have to be honest, and there has to be some levels of communication where everybody can make decisions according to what they say.
Captain Dave, this is going to be cut number 12 here. Let's hear Shane Beamer. He's talking about being honest with players this week and next week, kind of assessing, as Preston just said, where they are at on the depth chart and what their future is. Here's Shane Beamer again. It's cut 12, Captain Dave. Yesterday, talking about being honest with his players.
Yeah, I think I know I'll be like I always have. I've tried to always be transparent with our players after spring practice about where they stand. And this year will be no different, letting guys know, where they stand. And there's every player on our team I would love to have back, but there's some guys that may look and say right now, coming out of spring, there's a lot of guys above me on the depth chart, and it's a uphill battle, and they want a fresh start somewhere else where they can play. I mean, that's great. That's happened in the past, and I'll help guys go wherever, from that standpoint. But I wouldn't say it changes my conversations with them in any way. It's continuing to just be transparent and honest with guys, and there should be no gray area about where they stand and why they're in that role right now either.
Your day was different because the player has a little bit more leverage. You could go to Lou Holtz and he could say, yeah, sure, transfer, but you can't transfer here. You can't transfer there. You're going to have to sit out next year. What do you want to do, young man? what were those conversations like 25 years ago?
There weren't very many conversations. You just go in there and they tell you this is where we see you. Hope you work hard in the summer and maybe you'll make your way up the depth chart. There was no opportunity. You didn't have any leverage, and that's part of the conversations that they had. Now you would hope that the coaches would be honest with you and see what you saw. But I remember a personal conversation that was like, hey, we're bringing in these kids from junior college. They are ranked here. They are going to get an opportunity to start. They're going to have every opportunity to play because they are priority recruits. And I just essentially had to say, like, all right. And there was no recourse. There was no nothing you could do with that. And some people would say, well, you got to go out to compete. Yeah, I guess. But those conversations are had, and they should be had frequently. Now, again, those players are not blind. They can see the depth charts forming, whether the coaches want to post them or not. They can see themselves. And so probably not a lot of surprises when you go into these conversations, because if you weren't getting reps in the spring, my guy, it's probably not going to be happening in the summer for you.
Well, one of the things that Shane Beamer also had to address yesterday was what they will do with the spring transfer portal, which is about to open up here. Here is Shane Beamer. This, again, will be cut 10, Captain Dave. This is what he says will be their portal philosophy for the upcoming spring window.
Yeah, as always, if there's an opportunity to increase the competition and make our team better, it's my responsibility as the head coach to do that. And there's certainly some positions where you guys can look at us and know the depth and the numbers are a little bit lower than maybe what you would like. And if there's an opportunity to increase the depth and numbers in a room, we certainly want to do that without a doubt. So is there a specific plan? No, we're looking at every position, how we can be better as a football team. And if that opportunity presents itself, then we'll certainly do that for sure. But it's also, it's challenging also, to go back to Hale's question. I mean, there's a lot of unknowns out there as well. Last year, we could have 120 players on our team. This year, if everything goes the way we think it's going to go, we're going to be down to 105. So you got to start talking about, your roster cap, and you just can't be bringing in people. There's always the 85 scholarship number that hasn't changed. So you've got to balance all that along with potentially bringing somebody into the program that can make us better. But they got to fit what we're about on and off the field and truly make us better for us to, want to pursue someone in the portal.
What do you take away? The roster number is very interesting, and we still don't have a firm answer on that, but everything else.
Yeah, you can't bring in 15 extra people. You probably didn't need them anyway. We talk about, the things that we can't do in college that you can do in every other level. Well, no other level of football is able to have that many people, that many bodies just around at any time. In high school, in college, they get practices done effective and efficiently with way less people. So I don't think that's necessarily an issue. The other part is, are we going portaling as a player? Are we going portaling for depth, as in the people behind me, or are we going portaling for people in front of me and I'm the depth? And I think that's a really very small distinction there. You say, we're adding depth. Okay, where do I fit in this depth? Am I at the top of the depth chart, or I am the depth? Because depth is not a starter. Depth is the person who started. So I think those are interesting distinctions.
So we'll continue to look at that from the standpoint of what they do in the transfer portal and how they go about handling things. I know that the talk has been, J.C. Sherbert said it yesterday, adding another defensive tackle to the mix. That's certainly something that is very likely to happen. They have said that they are happy with the wide receivers. Don't expect them to go out unless it's just a surefire, can't-miss prospect. So we'll continue to see what they look to add and how things kind of transpire from there. On the flip side of things, talking about the transfer portal yesterday, Dawn Staley goes out and gets her a new player to bring in that'll upgrade the backcourt.
So this is the same conversation we're just having. Are we adding depth, as in people behind me, or are we adding people that are in front of me? A lot of the guards that are currently on the roster, Malaysia Fuwali mainly, I would think, that's a question that is going to have to figure out. Yes, you want to increase competition, but there's only so many minutes to go around, and there's only one ball. And when you're bringing in Tanaya Latson, who is extremely ball dominant, again, 100% usage rate, that is something that is going to be interesting to see how it plays out with Dawn's style and the current roster that's already there.
The other part to this is adding, as we talked about in the first hour, adding another post player. And as we pointed out, there's a couple out there. One in particular entered the transfer portal last night with a do not contact next to her name and has a close relationship with someone on this roster.
I don't know the relationship. I didn't deep dig that far. I do know her last name is Kitts. I would just say that. I don't know. Maybe that's a coincidence. Maybe that's a relationship. Who knows? But it said do not contact. She left another SEC school. She's taller.
Yeah, 6'4".
Yeah, very, very interesting. Who knows? I don't know if that's the way that's going to go. But there is a need for a post player.
Well, and not just a post player. This is kind of what you talked about, adding a quality post player that comes in and not only provides depth, but maybe even challenges for a starting position. Because as you kind of said there, they would be what you would call a priority recruit.
Right. Yeah. So there's somebody that's coming in. Are they coming in to back me up or are they coming in for me to back up? This is a tough little distinction that needs to be made.
803-404-6100 is how you can weigh in this morning. We'll get into a few other little topics, including going back to that transfer portal and letting Preston weigh in on 100% usage rate.
Yeah, it's just wild how athletics in any other realm of life we'd be like, yeah, man, let's get better. Let's bring in more people to take my job. This is awesome. Can't wait.
We will get to that. 803-404-6100. You're listening to the early game. Bill Gunner for Mid-State Roofing. For nearly 30 years, Larry Leitner and the family have been the leader in the roofing and waterproofing industry, and it's that proven history that is your assurance that their professionals will get the job done in a safe and pleasing manner to you and your operation. So you need to give them a phone call today, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Mid-State Roofing is ready to help you with a maintenance contract. Again, that is 803-356-1919. 803-356-1919. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Mid-State Roofing is ready to help you. So don't wait a day longer. You don't even want to discover a leak before you have to call Mid-State Roofing. Be proactive and call them today and line up an appointment. Whether it's here in Columbia, Florence, Myrtle Beach, or Aiken or Augusta, Mid-State Roofing is ready to help you. 803-356-1919. Tell them Bill Gunner sent you.
All right, on the roads this morning, we still have a few problems. Some slowdown coming in this morning on 26 right as you approach Malfunction Junction. Got a wreck also Pickens Street at Blossom Street. Got one at, let's see, that's going to be 26 at 302, exit 113. We got one on I-20 near Highway 6 there. And otherwise, we're rolling along pretty well. Weather outlook for today, it's going to be 67 for a high. Tomorrow, some rain should move in, 71 for a high. Friday, 68 with rain. Saturday, 66. Sunday, warm up a little bit more to 68. And then Monday, get this, 80 degrees for your high. It's Captain Dave Wetzel, Automotive Traffic Center.
.33 on a Wednesday morning where we are getting ready for the Masters, and we're doing that by being out at ProSwing here on Forest Drive. And again, you can come by and hang out with us all day long from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. And we'll do this again tomorrow. So if you didn't make it here today or you were a little confused, come on by. We are right by the Bonefish Grill and the Orange Therapy, by the way, who they're in full force when we come rolling in at about 5:40, 5:45.
Yeah, a lot of bass pumping.
I feel like I hear somebody in there yelling, pedal harder.
A lot of bass pumping.
So, yeah, but we are right here on Forest Drive. You can come by and hang out with us. And if you play around, you can come by for lunch, too, today. Hang out with Jay or with Terry and Tyler. If you play around while you're here, you are entered to win tickets to Sunday's Masters final round. So a great reason to come by and hang out, see the whole gang, be a part of our event out here. And that'll be again today and tomorrow live here from ProSwing. 803-404-6100. Preston, usage rate. It is slowly becoming the new key word in basketball. The usage rate.
Uh-huh.
What do you got?
Yeah, we just brought in a huge transfer portal from Florida State for the women's basketball squad, Tanaya Letson, who has a 100% usage rate, according to my guy, Elijah Campbell. And again, I put usage rate in the same category as WAR, QBR. I don't know what the numbers mean, but 100% seems like a lot. And I think it's where the amount that you're scoring, assisting, maybe it's even dribbling. Don't know exactly what it is, but I do know this. If you have a 100% usage rate, you are extremely ball dominant. And that, when you're on a team that's not very good like Florida State, of course you can be ball dominant. There's nobody else to pass the ball to. When you have a team where other people are expecting or used to getting the ball in certain modes of offense, maybe that style doesn't work. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how she gels her style along with the current model of offense that Coach Staley is running right now with women's basketball. Or maybe we're going away from that. Maybe we need somebody that's more ball dominant and can get a bucket. I think it's all up for us, all on the table right now.
All right, for the nerds out there, basketball usage rate or usage percentage. It is the percentage of a team's possessions that end with a player while they are on the floor, encompassing field goal attempts, turnovers, and free throws.
Okay.
Usage rate estimates how often a player is involved in teams' offensive plays, indicating their role and impact on teams' scoring and ball movement. It is calculated by summing a player's field goal attempts, turnovers, and free throws, and dividing that number by the team's total possessions when the player is on the court. In other words, it's basically how often does that player finish the play, whether it's a turnover, whether it's getting fouled and going to the foul line, or taking a shot.
Yeah, so again, the number's high, and we'll see exactly what that means as far as the player is concerned. But that is something that somebody who needs to get a bucket, and they've always needed to get a bucket. I said that was my biggest concern for the women last year, with Malaysia Fulwale and Tessa Johnson being the ones that I thought were able to generate a bucket for themselves, and they obviously did not have good games in the championship. with that being said, Dawn is going to get what she thinks she needs, and this is a huge pickup.
All right. James Wiseman leads the NBA in usage rate.
Who he played for?
He now plays for Indiana. He originally was Golden State. He also only played in one game this year and played 5 minutes. So usage rate was exceptionally high at 45%. That's abnormal. The next few guys you're going to recognize. Really, number one in the league at 34.6 is Giannis Antetokounmpo. His usage rate is 34.6, and he's played 2,225 minutes this season. Joel Embiid is second at 34.2 with the usage rate. Tied with him, actually, is LaMelo Ball for Charlotte.
Okay. All right.
Next on the list behind LaMelo is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander at 33.6. Paolo Banchero at 33.1. I'm going to skip a few here. Number 8 is Luka Doncic, 32.5. Zion Williamson at 32.5. I'll skip Cade Cunningham. Ja Morant at 31. That is the usage rates. So the highest in the NBA is Giannis at 34.6, and you're telling me this young lady had a 100%?
Well, no, I was looking at it, and I think I might have misspoken. The adjusted usage rate. I have to look at those numbers because the nerds go deeper and deeper.
Oh,
but she is
adjusted.
She is up in that category at 38.2 as far as the raw usage rate. Yes, so it is extremely high. So when you think about people like Luka, Joel Embiid, as I was looking up here, Michael Jordan in 2005 and 2006, he was at 38.7. Yes, they did recalculate his usage rate. So people that are about being, but I think it's really interesting when you look at Michael Jordan, because when Michael Jordan was in college, he was famously limited by
the four corners,
by the offense and by Dean Smith and by what that was. He could have averaged however many points he wanted, but the offense led him to be a little bit more limited. And I wonder what that's going to look like for Tania Latson when she comes here for South Carolina. Also, asterisk star, she was a teammate of Raven Johnson's in high school, which they won the state championship. And I feel like you should win the state championship if you have two Division I athletes on your team as a varsity basketball team anywhere.
Seems like we'll continue to monitor that. Also, last night, speaking of Luka Doncic, Preston, would you ever want to talk trash with a guy who refers to himself as the courtside tattoo dude?
All right, what's up with him?
If you didn't see this last night, Luka was thrown out of the game.
Okay.
Ejected from the game by one of the referees during the game. It was his second technical of the game. The Lakers led 108-107 with 7:40 left when he was whistled for a technical foul by referee J.T. Orr, his second of the game. Orr had also given Doncic, same referee, gave Doncic a technical in the third quarter when Doncic argued a foul call that was missed on another Lakers player. The Lakers player, Jared Vanderbilt, said that during the argument for the first technical, the referee looked at Luka and said, "I'll talk to anybody but you, Luka." So it just seemed personal, is what the referee did. But the second time, Luka, who has said that he doesn't mind jawing with courtside fans. He's never had a fan, he points out, I've never had a fan ejected for talking trash. He goes with a fan, says, talks trash, I'm going to talk back. And he was jawing with the fan after hitting a bucket, and the referee took it upon himself to think that Luka was yelling at him, talking trash, and so therefore the referee ejected Luka. Well, the Thunder finished the game on a 29-12 run to rout the Lakers.
Okay, yeah, that sounds about right. So Luka got himself kicked out the game. He wasn't doing his normal whining. He was actually talking
Says
trash.
He was talking trash. Even the courtside, his name is Jeremy Price. He refers to himself, by the way. I don't know if you're allowed to do that, but refers to himself as the courtside tattoo dude. Told ESPN that Doncic was shouting at him and not the referee. Courtside tattoo dude goes on to say, within the game, I mentioned that he was short on his shot and he missed it, and he turned around and he shot an expletive back, and JT happened to see it, and at that point teed him up.
Yeah, that's Luka got that. Luka got that because of his reputation.
Okay. You're siding with the referee on this.
Yeah, Luka's known to talk.
Oh, okay.
Luka's known to be a known whiner on the court.
That's
what he does.
So does Jeremy Price, courtside tattoo dude, then get credit for the victory because he got a star player ejected and the Thunder going a 29-12 run and win?
Yeah.
Like, does he get a game ball?
It might be. I mean, again,
At least a free soda or beverage?
it might be something to look into. Again, Luka's known for a lot of whining, so can't fault the referee for being like, hey, all right, man, that's enough from you, especially from you, Luka. You cry a lot.
Gotcha. 803-404-6100. That's how you can weigh in if you want to do so this morning to weigh in. We'll get to that, or excuse me, we'll wrap up here from ProSwing on a Wednesday morning. You're listening to the early game. Egton Law Firm. Have you received one of those mean, nasty notices from the IRS? Are they in pursuit of you or your business? Well, if that is the case, it's time to call John Egton and his team. 803-771-9800. You can get a free consultation. The Egton Law Firm has a local team dedicated to resolving your income or business tax issues for good because they understand the challenges you are facing. That's why they're ready to offer you the peace of mind that you absolutely deserve. So give them a phone call. 803-771-9800. Check out the Egton Law Firm team. If you've received something from the IRS and it's keeping you up at night, it's stressing you out, it's time for you to give them a phone call. Get that free consultation. 803-771-9800. Call the Egton Law Firm. Tell them Bill Gunner sent you. Dave, I'm going to also call. We're wrapping up our 3 hours from ProSwing here on Forest Drive, but Tyler Head has made his way in here, and he will have you covered for the next 3 hours, 9 to 12, before turning it over to Terry Ford from 12 to 3, and then Jay and Elijah from 3 to 6. And you can stop by at any point today and hang out, play a little golf here, enter to win some Masters tickets for Sunday's final round. So come on by over here again. We are in between the Bonefish Grill, and we are in between that and the Orange Therapy Fitness. So come on by and hang out. Preston and I will be back here first thing, bright in the morning from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m., hanging out and getting you ready for the start of the Masters. 803-404-6100 if you want to weigh in. And let's go out to the phone lines. Hank wants to weigh in on women's basketball. Hank, how you doing? What's on your mind?
I'm doing fine, Bill. I just wanted to give a little bit of more information on Latson. I think one of the reasons that she was selected is not only did she play with Raven on 2 state championship teams in high school, Sanaya, Raven, Fulwiley, Joyce Edwards, and Ashlyn Watkins all played together on this powerful FBC United AAU squad that won the national AAU championship together. And they played the champions from EYBL and all that, and they won that also. So they've had a lot of chemistry. Sanaya can score and play point, but she's had to play a lot of point and ball dominance because of how weak the team has been at Florida State. But she was basically a 2-guard, and they would play a 3-guard back court when she was playing with Fulwiley. So she's got a lot of chemistry with Fulwiley, Edwards, and Watkins in addition to Raven. And so that's a big part of it. In addition to her being the nation's leading scorer for the last couple of years.
Appreciate the context, because that makes a lot of sense, and that adds a lot of context to the situation. Because a lot of times players do fill roles that they have to. When, again, if she was playing in Florida State and there wasn't anybody else to make shots, then she has to step up and take them. So that makes a lot of sense with her playing in a role with these women in different times. So that does provide a little insight into the signing. Appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you for the phone call, Hank. A lot of good stuff there. 803-404-6100. Earlier in the program, well, we listened to Xavier Leggett, who, as you said, somehow just kind of slipped under the radar for about 5 years here at the University of South Carolina. I do think we're all a little baffled. We figure even if he'd have spoken some interview, we would have picked up on the voice and the accent, right?
The first time I heard about it was with Spencer Rattler was imitating him, but I thought Spencer was just imitating people from the South. I didn't know he was imitating the southernmost dude. So, yeah, this has been interesting to me.
Well, yesterday, I guess, Xavier Leggett decided to give his raccoon recipe. Captain Dave, let's hear Xavier Leggett explaining what properly to do with a raccoon.
I know that you eat raccoon, so if I wanted a perfect raccoon meal, take me from start to finish, what do I gotta do?
For yourself, right? First you need to go in the woods. You gotta have some coon dogs that's trained to go. Once you pass that, boy, you just skin them. You cut a hole about the size of your pinky down behind the back of his head. Pull a dang on, what's that say? A leg sleeve on the leg. You know what I'm saying? Pull it just like that. And once you do that, man, you just cut a hole right across the chest. Just take your 2 fingers, pull the guts and everything out of them, strip them out. And then after that, man, you just wash them out, put them in a pressure cooker, let the meat fall out the bone. After that, it's going to be like chopped up meat. And after that, man, you just put some fresh peppers on. We got our little own tank of seasoning that we mix up, man. We can't give y'all everything now.
I was about to say, what type of seasoning we put?
Yeah, man, it's a little bit of everything, man. But you got to put some spices on it, some herbs, and then that'll be the way to make the best come.
Put some spices on it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know whether he's leaning into it or he's found a lane, but yes, that is a way to make coon. He first said you got to get your dogs. So if you don't have your coon dogs, you kind of out of the conversation.
Yeah, is that's got to take that? That's probably you probably got to spend some time training. I'm thinking
that's a minute.
And that's probably not cheap either, I'm going to assume.
But the question we asked was whether it was a go or a no. So if you heard that recipe, Tyler said it was a hesitant go. Haley Artek here, coon. She's giving me the odds of saying no.
Yeah, she's eating a donut while she's saying that. I know she's.
That's a no. I would probably say no. We had a lot of folks say that they were good with it. Had a lot of people saying that they had eaten coon, but not that they do eat coon. And I wonder Is there a distinction on that?
Boy, you some of you. John from Earhart had raccoon on the grill last night for
Okay.
supper.
All right. I hear you. I hear you, Earhart representing.
Steven up in Roanoke. I like squirrel gravy, so yes, I'd try.
Let's go.
Will says heck to the no.
That's a no.
Another texter weighs in. No. Too cute for stew.
I want to know who's rebranded raccoons as cute because they are not. Yeah.
No, you guys.
There's also that.
Haley
There's
goes,
also
don't they have rabies? Look, now, have y'all not seen that? Like, I've seen this on Instagram more. I don't get on the TikTok, but on the Instagram, people who like find like baby raccoons and then raise them and they're giving them little bottles and yeah, they have them as pets.
No.
Rocky the raccoon. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
The PR for raccoons has been astounding because they are terrible animals.
Jim weighed in earlier. Preston, beef liver with onions is horrible. I can smell it right now. But chicken livers, fried chicken livers, or liver pudding, unbelievable.
Very correct, astute observation because I too, in my younger days, was forced to eat beef liver with onions, and that is a taste that I can taste in my mouth right now. It's the
Chris weighs in and says training those raccoon dogs is the absolute best part. Okay. All right. A lot there. So yeah, so that's Xavier Legette's.
I mean, everybody's read Where the Red Phone Grows, right? Old Dan and Lil Ann. If you haven't, spoiler alert. Get your tissues ready. Don't ruin it.
Okay, great. Now
Get
I
your
gotta
tissues
I don't know
ready.
if I read that when we were little.
Oh,
or
if
not.
you didn't, if you didn't, you didn't because you would remember that moment. Old Dan and Lil Ann, never forget them.
All right. Well, there was your food portion of the morning. As Preston, you had a good time with that. That was a thoroughly enjoyable listen to.
For sure. Yeah. I'm here for anybody talking about interesting recipes.
Interesting recipes. Well, maybe we'll have a few more tomorrow. We mentioned last night was the champions dinner over at the Masters. I went with hamburgers myself to celebrate. To kind of be a part. I did hamburgers last night. So yeah, so not really Scotty style, but yeah, you get the point there on that. So I tried to emulate that a little bit. Tomorrow morning we'll be here. We'll get the Masters going. Are you going to kind of get into this a little bit? As you said, all right, don't be a poser. You're not going to be the guy who's like wandering around. I got the Masters hat. I got a Masters pullover.
Yeah, I would definitely get into it because it's a major event, and I want to see who wins or who's up. But I'm definitely going to be into it. I'm going to check it out to start off with.
We will roll along more from ProSwing this morning. Make sure you come by and join us. It's been a lot of fun. We'll be back tomorrow, and we'll get the Masters going.
Let's go.
Y'all have a good rest of the day. Tyler Head, Jack Veltri up next. Bill Gunner for Zero Res Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning. And you need to make sure now is the time you are getting those carpets, those air ducts, those everything clean, tiles, upholstery. And with Zero Res patented ZR water technology that replaces the old school chemicals and harsh soaps that leaves your carpets cleaner longer, that's exactly what you are getting. So give them a phone call right now, 803-262-4020, and schedule your cleaning. Mention me, Bill Gunner at 107.5 The Game, and you can get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned for the price of 2. That's 3 rooms cleaned, but only for the price of 2. So give them a phone call, 803-262-4020, or schedule online. ZeroResColumbia.com is the way to go about doing that. Again, with their patented ZR water technology, you can feel safe with the kids, the pets, everybody rolling around on the carpets. So call Zero Res today. Tell them Bill Gunner sent you. Zero Res, spell it back, right way to clean.
All right, an accident this morning. It's going to be reported to be Hiller Road at Dutch Fork Road, Highway 76. You know, if you're coming off of Hiller and all that traffic's coming on that 2-lane road, yeah, hey, I understand. There's a gap. I'm going to shoot for it and go for it. But anyway, wreck there. Also, we have a wreck at 20 eastbound Bush River Road. That one just happening moments ago. One at 378. This is going to be, let's see, it's going to be between Sunset and 26. And we got one over at Highway 6 at I-20, exit 55. One in Springdale, 26 at 302. And also got one at Pickens Street at Blossom Street downtown. That was not too old. Some slow moving traffic, especially if you're still coming in.
Oh, 9 o'clock on